What is going on, everybody? It is Wake Up and Ball, brought to you by BetUS. I'm Richie. He's Tony. We got the new Wake Up and Ball merch. Look at that. You know we
Let's
wake up and ball. We got to get the coffee. We got the brand new Wake Up and Ball mugs. Things are leveling up. We got a Week 13 NFL recap in store today. Happy holiday season. Hope everybody had a fantastic Thanksgiving. And now we transition into NFL talk, some NBA talk, some baseball, some stuff right here. Big time shout out to everybody that wake up and balls with us every single morning. Tony, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling great, man. New week, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, a lot of stuff happened this weekend. We're about to break it all down right here on Wake Up and Ball. I know everybody enjoyed their Thanksgiving weekend, but hey, it's time to get back into all things sports. Richie, man, I'm glad that we got through the weekend. A lot of good, a lot of bad, but it's time to dive into it all. Let's do it.
A lot of good and a lot of bad indeed, man. But hey, for our respective teams. But at the end of the day, the NFL's here to make us feel good. And the NFL's here to bring us together and enjoy some football. So, folks, do us a favor. Hit the like button on your way in, okay? That would be pretty awesome. That's all you got to do. If you also enjoy Wake Up and Ball, let us know. Share this show. Let your family and your friends know about that we're live every single morning at 8:30 a.m., I was unable to talk to you on this specific show about the Dolphins because I was not here on Friday. I'm not here on Wake Up and Ball on Friday. So I think, we're talking Week 13 recap. Why don't we talk about the Dolphins game? I know it's Thursday. And
we covered that, Richie. We covered
No,
that.
not on this show. You did, not with me. We talk about it on the huddle. We'll talk about it tonight in the AFC's roundtable. But let's start off with the Miami Dolphins because they had a chance to defeat some narratives, right? They had a chance to do something that would have completely changed the outlook of Tua, the complete outlook of the Miami Dolphins as a team. And they did exactly what I've been saying all along. And everyone's been cornering me. Richie, you're a hater. But everything I say about the Dolphins is true. Okay, if you want to bring up the Jets, do it. We suck. Congrats. Okay, if that's how you want to run your victory lap. But all I'm going to say, TD, is I told you so. And stop calling me a hater when I talk about your Miami Dolphins.
Well, Richie, you are a hater when it comes to the Miami Dolphins at the end of the day. Let's just be honest about that. We don't have to sugarcoat it.
You're a Richie hater. How about that?
How am I a Richie hater, man? I'm just trying. Listen. Okay, so listen, Richie. Like I said, we really don't have to get into that game too much.
Are you sure? Why not? People want to hear your thoughts still.
Because we kind of touched on it, but here's what I will tell you. The Dolphins are frauds. And at the end of the day, Tua now being 0-8 in weather under 45 degrees is fraudish. But the important thing of it all, Richie, regardless, we still have an opportunity to kill that. It's not completely over yet, okay? We're still in the hunt. You see the game, and they're showing the AFC. We're still in the hunt, and it's not over, Richie. So we have time to get our act together. That was a bad game by the Dolphins. Every team in the NFL has had a bad game this year for the most part, maybe with the exception of the Lions. And it happens, Richie. This isn't something for you to take a victory lap and say, I told you so. It's just right now the Dolphins are frauding, and we're going to see if we can get out of that fraud state.
So where are you at now with the Dolphins? You running it back? You making the playoffs? Like, are you back on the delusional train of we're still alive and we're going to win every single game for the rest of the season? Or where are you at?
Well, I was never on a delusional train, Richie.
Yeah,
at the end of the day, if
you said you were going to beat the Packers.
If you have and I was wrong. Being wrong doesn't make you delusional.
No. Do you want me to remind you why you're delusional?
Why? Why is that?
You said Tua is the best quarterback in the league for 3 weeks. You said the Dolphins were the best team in the league in 3
I
weeks.
said Tua was the best
Delusional.
quarterback
Definition.
in the league for that 3-week period.
Which isn't true.
It is. He was slicing everybody up. He was playing great football, man.
Man, I want to get all the haters that you have on Dolphins Twitter. I want them to watch this show and be like, "Oh, that's the TD I like." Because if they tune into this show, like, "Oh yeah, I like this TD." But when you like get real, that's when you go to X. That's my problem with you, man. You're just a flip flopper, man. Like, be consistent with your takes, would you?
I am consistent, Richie.
All right, let's pull up your X account then. Let's see what you give it.
You just don't comprehend me properly. I said for the last 3 weeks, Tua has been playing the best football in the league, which is true. That still don't mean I don't feel like he's a fraud. So at the end of the day, the Dolphins are, I personally believe, officially, the Dolphins are not going to do anything successful with Tua Tagovailoa at all. We will have no postseason success with Tua Tagovailoa. I've been very consistent with that. Now,
no, you haven't.
Yeah, I have. Now,
no, you haven't. That's a lie. That was a lie. See, what you're saying now, you're finally coming around, but you just saying I've always been consistent with that is not true.
I have always no. See, this is what you can't hear through
Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's every team. Jets were saying Super Bowl before the season started. You were literally saying a few weeks ago that you guys are running the table, making the playoffs, beating the Bills in the playoffs, like all these things, dude. Like, what are you saying? You want me to go back? If we make the playoffs, we would beat the Bills.
Oh my God, here we go.
So,
you sure?
Listen, Richie. Here's the point of the matter. Okay, I was wrong with a lot of stuff, and it was because for the first time I was lying to myself, trying to manifest hope or something like that, that things will be different, which it will never do anything successful with Tua Tagovailoa at the helm. And the most frustrating part about it all is that most Dolphin fans don't see that Tua is the real issue. And what I mean by that is, you know how a team has tons of issues, right? It's almost like this, Richie. You know how you got a salary cap of $250 million roughly?
Yes, sir.
It's like paying Aaron Rodgers $200 million a year per year, right? And then you're crying about how bad your defense is. You're crying about how bad your O-line is.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
listen.
Why are you crying about something that
the Dolphins fan base right now, I am very interested in because of the divide between it's not Tua's fault, build around him. I actually love it that we have Dolphins fans still thinking that and I get it. Listen, if you're a fan, if you have a quarterback that you drafted and you want him to be the guy, you feel like the Jets went through the same thing in a different way. So I get it. But I don't want to waste too much time on the Miami fraud fans.
No, you don't.
So I want to start off with it, but now we're getting too detailed. Flick Shorts with the first super chat says, man, oh man, 21-7 at one point, Richie. Perfect segue into the Jets and the Seahawks game. So Flicks, thank you for the super chat. Listen, man, this game was just beyond listen, some people be like, Richie, why you still let this team get you pissed when you're like, because I'm a Jets fan. Like, am I supposed to be there be numb, TD? Am I supposed to watch the games be like, I don't care anymore. Oh, we did good. Who cares? Oh, we did bad. No, I'm a fan. Like, I react. Okay, so, but listen, the way the Jets lost this game was at two plays, TD. There's two plays. The Jets were winning 21-7 at this point. Second quarter, right? Aaron Rodgers in the red zone, moving the ball down the field.
Tried to squeeze one in.
And no, you're missing. What happened to play before?
End zone.
Garrett Wilson had the most disgusting route you'll ever see. I'm going to pull it up.
Yeah, he overthrew him, right?
I'm going to pull it up so you guys have context of what I'm talking about. This was the play before the pick six, okay? You look at your screen now. So look at this route from Garrett Wilson, man. Let me just mute it real quick. Look at this. Fake inside. Whoop. I mean, you don't get that open in the red zone ever in the NFL. And look where the ball lands. So it missed Garrett Wilson on that touchdown, TD. Okay.
Mhm.
And do you know what the score would have been if he connected on that?
28-7.
28-7. The next play was a 91-yard pick six to former Jet Leonard Williams, which made the game 21-13. So instead of it being 28-7 Jets, the score became 21-13 Seahawks. That is the craziest swing I think I've ever witnessed as a Jets fan. Like, that was like, you got a wide open receiver for a touchdown to extend the lead to 28-7. And then the next play, it goes the other way. All the momentum switches in Seattle's favor. The Seahawks were gifting every chance for us to win the game. I mean, fumbling every kickoff. I mean, just like, it was like, the game was drunk early on. The offense for the Jets was phenomenal in the first quarter, and then they absolutely laid an egg for the rest of the three quarters, scoring 14 points in the first quarter, 0 points in the second, third, and fourth quarter as an offense. Our other 7 points came from a kickoff return for a touchdown. So really frustrating stuff. And then 9 penalties in the fourth quarter is the dagger in the heart. The Jets just find new ways to lose. It just feels like there's just this weird voodoo magic that no matter what the Jets do, they'll never figure out ways to win football games this season.
Well, here's what I would say, Richie. Y'all are terrible. Like, you could be gifted a game and y'all still find a way to lose it. I was so disappointed. I actually picked Seahawks to win only because it would be irresponsible not to, but I wanted to pick the Jets to win this game all week. All week, I felt like the Jets were going to get it done. And let me tell you, the only bright spot for me being a Dolphins fan watching that Jets game was the fact that they're going to feed Jets fans delusions next week, I believe. They're going to feed y'all delusion. Like, y'all are going to go into Miami, and y'all might actually even win that game, in my opinion. And now we're going to be there live, me and you, and I hope my Dolphins win. But it's something about this game I've been waiting on all season, and I feel like, because let me say this, like, you got to look at matchups, right? Like, people don't realize the Jets, they went out there trying to make a statement and trying to win the game. And for the most part, they were in the game. They just couldn't get over all those third down misses for the most part. But listen, you had some special teams help. Defense showed up finally, all of that good stuff. But this is the type of game that'll feed your delusion in Miami, on the road in Miami. And I'm hoping the Dolphins don't let this stinker happen. Like, I'm starting to feel like I want to project. But the Jets, y'all are just bad. And it's going to really be a dagger to our hearts if we lose to y'all, because we lost to Seattle. But y'all had a better chance versus Seattle than we did. Like, y'all did better than we did against Seattle. If you're looking at a little bit more of a comparison. But Richie, man, y'all are just like us. You're in no man's land. Like, there's no silver lining. There's no bright spot for the future.
There's a difference. Like, there's a huge difference between the Jets and the Dolphins right now.
No, y'all might just run it back, though, and just like us.
No, there's a big difference. That's the thing. We're not running it back. You guys are. You're going to have the same quarterback, the same coach, and the same GM next year.
No, you're going to have the same coach. The same quarterback.
No, we're not. We're going to have a brand new GM, a brand new quarterback, and a brand new coach. Okay, well, first of all, 2 of the 3 is guaranteed. New head coaching GM is guaranteed. And every single report, everything that's coming out is saying that Rodgers is not returned. I mean, listen, and that's just you hoping Rodgers returns because you know that you want that. There's nothing that's proving that he's going to want to come back, and the Jets are going to want him back, TD. Rodgers is not coming back next year. It'd be crazy to think that. What are you seeing on the field that even Rodgers himself wants to come back? So that's where, listen, the Jets and the Dolphins are the same from the perspective that they both had high expectations heading into a season, and they both fell short of those expectations, but they're both different, where the Dolphins are trending towards purgatory while the Jets are trending towards a complete change. And not to say that the Jets change is going to turn into a positive. We have no idea. The Jets can change and be the same incompetent mess next season and hire another failed coach and failed GM. That's possible. But the Dolphins, on the other hand, they committed to Tua long-term. They extended McDaniel before the season. They're committed to this team for another year or two. That's the difference between the Jets and the Dolphins right now, in my opinion.
Richie, time always tells, but here's what I know. I think y'all going to run it back again because of the Rodgers situation. And on top of that, y'all are just bad, man. You know what? The real travesty is the fact that you won any games at all. Like y'all, I don't even know why y'all are trying to win. Y'all are actually out there trying to compete and play football and win games.
Oh, give me a break. Don't even get me started with that. Of course they're going to be trying to win.
I don't even know why at this point, but guess what?
What do you mean why? They're football players. They want to play to win the game.
I get it, but it's making it worse for y'all. It is.
What do you mean we're losing?
Because you say y'all going to have a new quarterback next year. How do you plan on coming about doing that?
Free agency, trade, or draft. One of those three.
Oh, my. First of all, it ain't happening in the draft. Or you probably get another scrub based off of where you're going to be drafting.
Hey, first of all, trade up is possible. If this new Jets regime love a quarterback, they can trade up. Or, hey, you never know. Jalen Milroe can be a stud. You know what I mean? I mean, listen, there's a lot of options for the New York Jets. And at the end of the day, the Jets are going to be finding a new QB next year. But the Jets are going through a wide net of a GM search and a coaching search, and I really do not expect Rodgers to be back next season. But
he'll be a Jet.
Making this not really all about the Jets, just want to tip my cap to the Seahawks. I think that they have kind of solidified themselves to be in the front-running position to win the NFC West after the Cardinals losing, the 49ers losing. I believe the Rams lost. Oh, no, they beat the Saints. I forgot. But that is a good win for the Seahawks. The Rams won, okay. And Leonard Williams being, I mean, big cat. The Jets drafted him, TD. And to see him have the game that he had, a 92-yard pick six, 2 sacks, a blocked point after. It's just like everything that the Jets do. It's just so insane. It just smacks you back in the face. And then, of course, former Jet Geno Smith, being in first place the way that he is. So unfortunate stuff, but it's just really frustrating to watch my team continuously go out there and find new ways to lose every single week. All right, let's get into some other games, though. Folks, please do us a favor. Simply hit the like button. If you're watching Wake Up and Ball right now, we're on Roundtable Sports Network on YouTube. We're live Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. This is a brand new show that TD and I will be continuously trying to bring you guys as long as possible. As long as you guys keep showing love, we're going to keep going live. So please hit the like button, subscribe to Roundtable Sports, and check us out on all platforms. All right, let's get into some other games of the week. I guess we can keep it in the division, right? You want to keep it in the division and go into another AFC East game because I feel like they deserve their flowers. All right, so at the end of the day, we need to come together and talk about this game. All right, so I feel like yesterday was a good opportunity to kind of see where this team is on the totem pole of, teams, right? And at the end of the day, the Patriots couldn't find a way to win. They couldn't do it. They were right there, TD. They were right there. Anthony Richardson. Oh, you see right there. But at the end of the day, man, the Patriots had a chance to win that football game. But Anthony Richardson, game-winning drive, going for 2 and got it. Ooh, I thought the Patriots about to win that football game. What was your thoughts of that Anthony Richardson W over the Patriots in the clutch?
First of all, Anthony Richardson is such a bad quarterback.
He's been playing good the last 2 weeks.
But the man had 109 passing yards, Richie.
But he rushing.
With 50% completion percentage.
But he rushed.
12 of 24. No, I get it. But that's my point. He's such a bad quarterback, but he makes plays. Like, this is Tebow. Like 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, but the Colts get the job done. Now, it doesn't say much because it's against one of the worst teams in the league, you being the Patriots, but you got to get a Colts their flowers. They did what they needed to do to get that win and keep themselves still alive. Now, here's the funny thing. When you look at the remaining schedule, the Colts have a bye week this week, right? And then they have 4 games left. There's 4 games left on the Colts schedule. Now, for them to actually have a legitimate shot at making the playoffs, they got to win all 4. 3 of those games are very winnable, Richie. Like 3 of them are winnable. They played the Jags, and you know what's going on with Trevor Lawrence, which I believe they'd be smart to just go ahead and sit him down for the rest of the year. You're not playing for nothing. All you're doing is putting them at risk even further if you do bring them out there. They have the Tennessee Titans, winnable, and they have the Giants, winnable. The only game that's tough is fresh off the bye versus Denver, but at least they're coming fresh off the bye. But
that's going to be the game. I mean, I think the only chance the Colts have is if they beat the Denver. That's the team they're trying to replace, is the Broncos.
Yeah.
So if the Colts want, that's a playoff game if you're a Colts fan. Like,
or
that's
the
the
Colts
only
could
path.
be helping the Dolphins out.
Or the Colts beat the you're just screwed. You're screwed either way. You're gonna be rooting for the Colts in that game, right?
No.
Dolphins fans, and the Colts gonna win, and then they're gonna win the next 3, and then it doesn't even matter what the Dolphins do. So you guys are screwed either way, bro.
No. I don't know if the Colts will have a tiebreaker over us if it comes down to that. I'm not sure yet. I have to go look at the standings.
Yeah, screwed either way. You're not winning out. So stop that nonsense.
All right. So, but here's the thing: the Colts, they put themselves in contention. They still are alive. They didn't kill their hopes. And let me say this too: this is why it was important for the Houston Texans to get that win, because you couldn't mess around. Like, if the Houston Texans would have lost that game, the Colts were only 1 game behind.
Yeah.
So the Houston Texans needed that game. But here's what I'll say too, Richie, as we talk about the Colts making a push for the playoffs, the Texans aren't in the clear. Houston can still win the division. Do you know the Texans got a
Houston is winning the division.
Well, I don't know, Richie.
You just say Houston still could win the division.
No, I mean, the Colts could still win the division.
Yeah.
Because the Houston Texans have to play the Dolphins, which they could win that, but I'm just saying it's still a tough game. They got to play the Chiefs. They got to play the Ravens, and then they end out with Tennessee.
Yeah, but the Texans swept the Colts, so they got to finish with a better record.
Well, but that's still plausible, though, Richie, because if Houston drops 3 of those games in which they possibly could, and they only beat the Titans, which is tough too, that's only 9 wins for Houston, because I don't see Houston beating the Chiefs. And the Chiefs will be fighting for the number 1 seed. I don't see the Houston beating Baltimore, especially when Baltimore got to fight to the end at this point. And they better beat the Dolphins, because if they don't in 2 weeks, they're in massive trouble, Richie, because they're only going to get to 9 wins. But the Colts, on the other hand, like I said, have that chance to win out if they could beat Denver. So Houston better not play games. That division is still there to be for.
It's going to be easy. I mean, they got the Miami Dolphins on the schedule, so that's a walk in the park for them. AFC South champions. Flick Shorts $2 says, so would you rather go 8-9 or get Ward or Shador? Listen, this is how I look at it as a Jets fan. You could prefer this, prefer that. Whatever I prefer is going to have 0 impact on what's going to happen. So I'm going to root for the Jets to win games, and then at the end of the season, we assess where they're at. Because it's funny. I got people commenting, bro, on my rant videos or whatever my recap was yesterday. People are like, oh, Jets fans like Richie, the reason why we suck. It's because we can never be bad enough to win. TD, I didn't know me rooting for the Jets has any impact on their ability to win football games. Did you know that? Me rooting for the Jets actively has an impact on their play on the field. It's fans like me that ruins the outlook of the Jets. I don't understand. Please enlighten me how.
It can, Richie. I don't think you do.
It can?
It can. Let me explain why fans feel that way. Now, they're just probably don't like you. But here's I
got haters.
Here's a notion to think about in that, though, Richie, because that's where I'm at with the Dolphins. I'm starting to feel like the fan base are the reason why we continue to stay in purgatory. Because why would an owner feel that he needs to consistently make changes or do better if he can still sell the tickets? You're still gonna believe in it. Like, if you're not holding the organization accountable, and not you saying you want to win games, but you know those fans that, the team can't do any wrong, they're overly positive about the team even when they shouldn't be. Those are the fans that make it hard, because why would an owner change anything if he could still sell tickets and do everything he needs to do? There's 0 accountability. And that's why I say you're not in that category just because you want your team to win football games. That's the tanking mentality, right? But I think those who talk about it that way with guys who over glorify the team even when it is bad and make excuses all day for the team. I don't hear you around here saying, yeah, but the O-line or the this and that. No, you're not making excuses. So that's why I said that's not you. But that's how fans can impact, in my opinion.
I get it. It just feels like optics wise, it's more than it actually is the ability to them win or lose football games on the field. Like people feel like, oh, I'm rooting for the tank, and then I'm rooting for wins. Like the way I operated as a fan is whether you root for the tank or you root for wins, like it's not going to change the outcome on the football field, which is why I always root for wins, and whatever happens, happens. Like that's how I look at it. I can't actively root against my football team. It's just how I'm wired, but we don't need to go into the pro tank nonsense, in my opinion,
my whole theory on that has changed. I'm all for it now because it's a part of the game. If other teams do it, then you're at a disadvantage if you're not in a proper situation.
Yeah, I agree. Well, speaking on the Texans, we can just talk about this really quickly because we did bring up the Texans as they're 8-5. Trevor Lawrence got KO'd. I mean, that was a ridiculous hit. And then you talk about a guy that got up and ripped his helmet off. I mean, that is not a good look in the NFL. But it's got to be cleaned up. We got people ejected, and that was a crazy game. Jaguars almost came back in that game, but at the end of the day, Houston was able to get the job done. Are the Texans on fraud alert? Because they haven't had an impressive win in how long? Like it feels like whenever they win, it's not impressive, and then they come out there with like stinker losses. But they're also 8-5. So how will we assess the Houston Texans this season?
Well, me personally, they're not on fraud alert because they're, regardless of how we look at it, they're still winning games that they should. At a bare minimum, you got to do that. Win the games that you should win. Now it's fair to say, hey, they haven't beaten a team that's significantly good at all. They haven't, and that's true. They have not beaten. I don't think they beat a team over 500, if I'm not mistaken. So I get that, but they are taking care of business on almost all the teams, with the exception of the Jets, that they should. So with that being said, though, they're not a true threat in the playoffs, in my opinion. If they make it, which they should, but not guaranteed, but if they do, they are not a real threat in the playoffs this year. So with that being said, yeah, they are frauds in the sense of how much we hyped them preseason. Not we, me particular, not you, because you already knew this was coming. So I definitely give you that. So I'm not going to give them the fraud label, though. They'll have plenty of time to show whether or not they are in the next 3 weeks versus the Dolphins, Chiefs, and Ravens. Now, real quick, though, Richie, in regards to that hit, there ain't no way the league can clean that up. You can't clean it up. And here's why I say that. I don't even think the hit was malicious as far as intentional. People like full speed, Richie, it looks bad. Once your brain says he's standing up, let me launch and take him down. By the time you realize, oh, he's sliding, your brain is already giving your body a command. And you're already about to launch. People think that brains operate in this, okay, I'm about to launch. Oh, well, just levitate and stop. Like, you can't. And because it reminds me of a hit with Kiko Alonso years back. Like, you can't stop this part of the game. And let me say this too. How many times lately have we seen quarterbacks look like they were about to, but kind of like edging forward even more? Or on the sideline like they're about to go out, but go forward. Man, you can't make the game get to a point where it's that unfair to a defender. Again, bad hit, look bad, X, Y, and Z, but I reserve caution whenever I start talking about, oh, that's dirty, or, oh, that was a malicious hit. It was a bad hit, but you don't know the intent of the player. Like, I think their brains sometimes already done made their decision what they're going to do.
He actually just released an apology. Quote, he said, I generally didn't see him sliding until it was too late. To Trevor, I genuinely apologize to you for what ended up happening. Before the game, we spoke, and I told you how it was great to see you back out in the field, and I wished you well. I would never want to see any player hurt because of a hit I put on them, especially on one that's deemed late or unnecessary.
And I agree with that, man. I literally, when I watched it, I paused it and I slowed the frame down. When the guy made his decision and you could tell he's about to get ready to get low and throw his body at him, Trevor was still straight up. And it's right when Trevor started to slide, he started his dive towards him. And I'm like, man, people don't understand the time it takes with your brain to say, this is what I'm going to do. And oh, no. Like, in most of these guys, when they launch like that, they close their eyes, Richie. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of these guys tackle, it's a natural reaction. Closing your eyes, you're bracing for contact. And listen, I knew it wasn't malicious. I just know that it was bad, and it was bad optics. But to really try to come at him as if he's a this and that, that's what I can't stand about the game. You're not going to clean it up. It's impossible. This is nothing to get cleaned up. So listen, you're going to always have this twice a year, that bad, oh my gosh, this happens every single year, and there ain't nothing the league can do about it. You can say, we're going to ban you from the league. Well, you're going to get 2 players banned a year. There's nothing you can do about it. So all this, how does the NFL stop this? There ain't nothing to stop. It's a part of the game. So that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting discussion to have. I mean, this has happened around the league every week, it feels like. Malicious hits. Is it dirty? Is it not dirty? Is it inevitable? Feels like it's more inevitable than anything. But let's transition into some other games because there's a lot of games I want to get through. Listen, let's get into this game that we were both wrong about, which was
Baltimore?
No. We were wrong about that one too. The Steelers and Bengals game. That was a game, man. I mean, the Steelers keep showing us that they are legit. Russell Wilson, 414 yards and 3 touchdowns. People are like, I don't believe in the Steelers. They can't score. And they're like, yeah, watch this. Yeah, Bengals are the worst defense in the league, but still, this was very impressive. We saw it was a high-scoring game. The Steelers proved to me in this one that they can win in different ways. They don't have to win their way. It depends on matchups. Like, oh, we're going up against the Cincinnati Bengals team that is a high-scoring offense with a bad defense. We got to score a lot of points to win this football game. That's exactly what they did. We saw Russell Wilson go out there, sling that thing, throw on the run, dimes all over the place. And the Pittsburgh Steelers have proven to be in front runners to win the AFC North, especially with the Ravens' loss. And I thought the Bengals were going to be able to win this football game, and I was dead wrong on that. So what was your thoughts of this one right here? Pittsburgh is out there making big-time moves, and the front runner to win the division and a front runner to come out of the AFC. I mean, I think they're third behind the Buffalo Bills and the Chiefs, but still, they are definitely a team to be reckoned with.
Excuse me. Sorry about that. The Steelers are definitely a team to be reckoned with, but they're not coming out of the AFC. Let's get that straight. As far as first seed, okay? Can they win an AFC championship? Possibly, but I doubt.
Coming out of the AFC isn't the first seed. Coming out of the AFC is winning the
AFC championship, and I still don't think that's going to happen. Okay, Steelers are just a great team, coached very well. You know, when you look at the talent on that team, like really, like can we just name a whole bunch of superstars, Richie?
The Steelers,
yeah,
T.J. Watt, Fitzpatrick.
Okay.
George
if we
Pickens,
want to go there, no, but that's my point. We're about to start getting real selective. And this is my theory, like I continue to tell people. When you got a roster full of 7 and 8s.
And with a coach that's a 10 out of 10, which is a big part of it.
When you got but here's the deal. Some teams got 10 great players on the team and 20 bad players, and the rest of them are 7 and 8s, 20 of them. But Pittsburgh got like 35 7-8. So if somebody get hurt, we're good. If the next person get hurt, we're still good. They're going to always be able to compete because they got a loaded roster in the sense of full of 7s and 8. When that starter goes down, if he does, we're not going from a 9 to a 4. We're going from an 8 to a 7. Like, and that's how you build a team with great talent through and through. And that continues to show. They have the winning game plan. They got the winning formula, defense, run the ball, a quarterback, be efficient and make plays when the opportunity presents itself. Pittsburgh is just a great team. And what it's going to take is another team who's well coached with the weapons to actually get over them, in which they can. But Pittsburgh will make it to the second round, in my opinion. I don't see them going to an AFC championship this year because of the field.
Well, if the season ended today, they will be facing off against the Ravens in the playoffs. That'll be nuts.
Yeah, exactly. So
in the wild card round.
And then after that, they got to deal with the Chiefs or the Bills. I mean, yeah, they're not going to the AFC championship. Now,
which isn't a walk, by the way. Steelers-Ravens. The Ravens could win that game. I know that the Steelers beat them, but
and that's why I say if they even won that. So good job by the Steelers. Cincinnati, though, we got to mention this, though, too, Richie. When they get there, like, they need to, first of all, they need to fire their head coach. And I don't know how you feel about that, if you think that they need to move forward with them and keep going. But in my opinion, they need to fire their head coach. Let me give you their losses, Richie. I'm not even going to tell you the team. I'm just going to give you the score. But trust me, all of them are great teams. Here's their losses. They gave up 44 points. They gave up 34 points. They gave up 35 points. They gave up, and this is their losses. They gave up another 41. They gave up 38. Their best defensive performance was versus the Chiefs, giving up 26 and 16 to the Patriots. Those are their losses, but 6 games over 34 points. 35 points.
Yeah. You can't win football games that way.
They need to fire their head coach, whoever the OC, keep them in-house. That is not the issue. They are averaging 30 points a game and losing for the most part.
So keep who in-house?
Well, they need to keep their offensive staff in place.
Yeah, but their head coach is the offensive coordinator of the team.
No. Like I said, explained to you last time, you promote whoever's under that person.
Yeah, but what makes you think but Zach Taylor is the play caller. He is the offensive mind. What makes you think the guy behind him is any better?
Well, you would hope they have that tutelage, but here's the deal. At this point, Joe Burrow running that system for this.
What about the stance of they get a new defensive coordinator? That's the issue. The offense isn't the issue. Zach Taylor's offense.
No, but that's the problem. You're not making all the right decisions for the team overall. You're the head coach. You still have to own the defense.
Yeah, but I don't think I don't agree where you just promote the guy below Zach Taylor. What if Zach Taylor is the reason why Joe Burrow in the offense looks great? I mean,
Richie, I don't know about that. At this point,
But what makes you think Zach Taylor's guy behind him is going to be just as good? It could be way worse.
Well, here's the point. The offense shouldn't fall down much. The offense can't. I mean, come on. Joe Burrow knows this system. Joe Burrow knows what works for him. It doesn't matter what OC you bring in. Joe Burrow easily, I like this, I like that. Let's make sure we keep this installed, keep that installed. That's the easy part. The offense is the easy part. And I don't think you need the coach to continue to have success on that side of the ball.
Yeah, it's obvious that their defense is what is the issue with Cincinnati.
Even if you fall off, Richie, even if you fall off a little bit on offense, what, you go from 35 points to 27? Like, come on. You need a defensive system that's not going to allow more than 24 points a game. And there's Vrabel out there, Flores out there. Those are the guys you bring in. Stop, Richie. Flores or Vrabel ain't going to be a Jet, all right? But listen.
All right, let's move right along because there's a lot of games I want to get to. The AFC North, another game, which was a big one. The Baltimore Ravens fell to the Philadelphia Eagles. This was a really, really fun game to be looking forward to. Between Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts versus Lamar Jackson. What the heck happened to Tucker, man? I mean, Tucker is losing the Ravens their games single-handedly, their kicker. I mean, you can argue that He lost the game against the Steelers. He lost this game against Philadelphia. He missed a point after and 2 field goals. And the reason why it's such a big deal is Justin Tucker is usually looked at as the best kicker in the league every single year, that he's like carrying the Ravens. So now it's doing the opposite. So listen, you got to tip your caps to the Philadelphia Eagles. They went out there and played their brand of football. They won this football game single-handedly. But this defense, Vic Fangio, that he has, they absolutely were able to shut down Lamar Jackson and that offense and were able to get the job done. I think it's time to finally, because it still feels like we haven't done it, make the Philadelphia Eagles a threat to come out of the NFC and contend with the Lions and the Vikings and the top dogs in the NFC. I feel like nobody but Eagles fans is thinking to themselves that the Eagles may make the Super Bowl. Does this game make you feel like they have a chance to make the Super Bowl for the Philadelphia Eagles and come out of the NFC?
This game gives them a very, very, very strong case, Richie. Now, as far as actually coming out of the NFC and winning it, I mean, let's be honest, bro. Who do we really have beating? I mean, that's a tough question, man. Can they beat the Lions, though, Richie?
Yeah.
Can they beat the Lions? But what makes us feel like they can?
But what have the Lions done that the Eagles hasn't? I mean, they have one more win. The Lions do. I mean, the Eagles are 1 game back from the first seed. The Eagles are winning, like, how many games in a row? I mean, they're right there with the Lions in terms of red hot. They're winning their way, just like the Lions are winning their ways. I feel like it just comes down to matchups, but I think that we're going to see an NFC championship game between the Lions and Eagles, unless there's a team that we're not really seeing that's going to get hot in the playoffs. I know you're still high in the Vikings, but the Packers can get hot in the postseason for all we know and make a run. But the Falcons, I don't really think is going to do anything in the playoffs. The Commanders, you never know. Seahawks, I mean, they're not even a lock to make the playoffs, but whatever team wins the NFC West, I don't really see making too much noise. So I think it's going to come down to the Eagles-Lions in that NFC title game. And everyone's also so drunk and infatuated and in love with the Lions that I think people are sleeping on the Eagles. That's how I look at it. People are blinded by the fun and offensive linemen throwing passes for the Lions, and they're forgetting about the team that was in the Super Bowl 2 years ago that's playing better than they did 2 years ago. Jalen Hurts is playing just as good. They're better than they were 2 years ago when they made the playoffs. I mean, made the Super Bowl, the Eagles. They're better, in my opinion. Saquon Barkley changed an entire team. Their defense under Vic Fangio is completely different right now. Jalen Hurts is playing his brand of football that's winning. So I feel like everybody keeps sleeping on the Eagles, and this game should be a wake-up call to be like, stop sleeping on them. They are right there as the top team in the NFL.
All right, let me throw one at you. Eagles or Pittsburgh?
Eagles.
They'll be playing in 2 weeks. There's in Philly, I believe. Yeah, in Philly.
That's going to be a great game.
There's so many games that's going to tell us a lot, Richie. So for the Eagles, that Eagles-Pittsburgh game is going to tell us who the Eagles are and who Pittsburgh is. And then when you look at the Lions-Bills game coming up soon in like 2 weeks, that's also on December 15th, going to be a huge telling. So I personally think those 2 games, December 15th is the week for all weeks of NFL. December 15th. We're going to learn a lot about a lot of these teams. And as far as the Eagles, let's see what you do against Pittsburgh. Well coached, defense just as good. Man, that's
a big game that week too. There's another big game. Jets, Jaguars.
Even y'all can't lose to the Jags.
We'll lose to the Jags probably.
No, Trevor.
Guys, I just realized. Sorry to interrupt, but we have a record right now. Wake Up a Ball. Over 214 live watchers on YouTube. Folks, do us a favor. Please like this show right now. Let's get this to over 100 likes. We can at least do that right now. We got over 200 people watching, not even 100 likes. So please smash the like button. We're live on this channel, Roundtable Sports Network, every single morning. If you guys can do us a favor as well, subscribe here to Roundtable Sports. Hit the notification bell so you get notified every single time we're live, which is every single morning. We're recapping Week 13 in the NFL right now. We appreciate you guys that's waking up and balling with us. We're talking all things NFL and all other things around the sports world. This is not just an NFL show. We talk NBA, we talk MLB, we talk all things sports here on Roundtable Sports, baby. So we appreciate you guys tuning in right now to this show. Let's get into it. Now, there's a lot of other games I want to get to, so I want to speed through and not take too much time for these games. Let's talk about that Sunday night game, because the Buffalo Bills just won the AFC East for their 5th straight year. Snow game. San Francisco unfortunately lost Christian McCaffrey for the season, it seems, with the PCL. Just absolutely feel for Christian McCaffrey. Fought his way back in rehab all season just to get hurt again. And whoa, we got Board Fat just gifted 10 Roundtable Sports memberships. Whoa, Board Fat.
To you, Board Fat. Appreciate that. Board Fat 34, man. That's huge.
Oh, my goodness. That's $50 worth of donations right there. So big time shout out to Board Fat. Congratulations to JT, Dre, Shared Bear, Board Fat, Teddy, Damon, JD the Great, Say Breeze, 3 siblings, Habitual Line Stepper, all was gifted memberships by yours truly, Board Fat 34. So big time shout out to you, man. We appreciate that. Everybody give Board Fat some dono hype
in the chat.
Everybody that is now a member, you guys can use the emojis.
Put the emojis in the chat. So if you're new to the channel, subscribe now. And if you want to join the membership for Wake Up and Ball, go ahead and join. It helps us do bigger and better things over here on Roundtable Sports. As the network continues to grow, Wake Up and Ball being the flagship show, starting it out. I see the emojis in the chat. I appreciate that, guys. But if you want to become a member, hit that join button now. All right. It is your way of showing love to the channel and dedicated to its overall success long term. 500 people total watching between YouTube and Twitter, man. Salute to all the viewers right now.
Yes, sir. I gave it a nice retweet on X, so we got a lot of Jets people watching now. But getting back to this game, I mean, listen, it was a perfect example of the Buffalo Bills having the advantage of people coming to their house in a snow game. That's how I looked at it. Like, you got the West Coast San Francisco 49ers coming all the way to the Western New York blizzard. And it just like Josh Allen, the Bills embrace that snow. They embrace the ability to run the football. James Cook, just completely dynamic. Josh Allen with the craziest play you'll ever see. He had a receiving touchdown, a passing touchdown, a rushing touchdown, leading his team to victory. The Buffalo Bills have now won the AFC East, and they are contending with the Chiefs to get that first seed. All the Bills need to do is to be tied with the Chiefs at the end of the season, and they will be the first seed. But as of right now, they're still a game back. So congratulations to the Buffalo Bills fans for winning the AFC East yet again. I mean, you guys won the division like 5 weeks ago, but now it's official, even though TD's like, oh, watch out, the Dolphins, delusional. So the Buffalo Bills just proved yet again that they are one of the better teams in the NFL and could be a threat to come out of the AFC. And Josh Allen, I think, is also now the clear front runner to win the MVP. So
delusional.
That's delusional.
Let me tell you something. I feel like a lot of people are trying to force the MVP in on him. That's how I feel. Like, okay,
you don't think that was an MVP performance last night that he had?
He only threw the ball 17. He only completed 13 passes, Richie, for 148. It was a ground and pound game. Quick little get in the red zone, little flick passes for the touchdown.
You know, Dan Mitchell's going on the huddle today, and you know.
Yeah, I know, but here's the point. It was a routine win. It's just, I think that people want to amplify everything he does to try to give him the MVP. Now, Lamar Jackson didn't make a good case for himself by losing the way that he did the other day. That didn't make a good case for himself. But when you look at the totality of the season, to me, Lamar Jackson is still the MVP. But Josh Allen has definitely, with that win and Lamar's loss, the way that it happened, he has definitely closed the gap. But I feel like everybody's just trying to automatically make the case for Josh Allen to finally get his first. He has not played the better football. We just spent 3 days.
But don't you think he's going to win it, though? Like, whether it's this or that or this or the third, like right now, he's the front runner and going to win it if the season ends today.
First of all, he's not the front runner. That's just a whole bunch of talking heads saying. That's just a whole bunch of talking heads saying that. The voters have to be the ones that say it.
But I think voters would vote him.
Not well. That's what talking heads believe. But once again, when it all comes down to it, we shall see. But here's what it's going to come down to, Richie. Number one, the Lions game. Josh Allen versus the Lions. That's number one. And number two, if Lamar continues to get a few more losses by the end of the season. Because if Lamar goes on a run and wins out, Lamar Jackson will win MVP. I already told you it's Lamar's to lose. And
but don't you feel like yesterday's game for Lamar kind of ruined his chances a little bit?
It didn't. It didn't ruin it. It put a damper on it. It hurt it. Here's the deal. If Josh Allen goes out there and loses to the Lions and Lamar beats the Steelers next time, Lamar has reclaimed it. That's all we're doing week by week, trying to make it a race. Right now, Lamar Jackson overall is still the MVP in my opinion, but he really hurt himself, and Josh Allen has closed the gap. Now, these last few weeks is going to come down to that because, are we going to glorify Josh Allen? I want to ask you this, Richie. Are we going to glorify Josh Allen every week when he plays the Patriots, the Jets, the Patriots again, and the Rams? We're just going to glorify him every week. We should expect him to go out there and have MVP performances against them. We're going to glorify that every week.
They haven't versed the Patriots yet? They're versing them twice?
Yeah, they got them twice in the last 3 weeks.
Wow.
So we're just going to glorify Josh Allen because he's going out there doing exactly what he pretty much is supposed to do. And how quick we forgot how the Ravens beat him 35-10. And Josh Allen was a bum in that game. And Lamar Jackson, 3 all-purpose touchdowns. We're just going to forget that.
Well, definitely come through to the huddle later today when Dan Mitchell is going to come on here returning after his week on a cruise, claiming that Josh Allen is the MVP. And remember the stats that I brought up last week? Are you going to bring those back up?
Yeah, that's the point. Make sure you bring those with you, Richie, because we need to go through those.
I don't know how to do that again.
Well, you got to remind me which stats it was because I just heard you say them and it just spelled bum to me.
Yeah, it did. Well, listen, I'm giving the Bills their credit. They blew out the Niners. I know the Niners are not good anymore this season, but they still took care of business at home in dominating fashion and just was able to beat the team that was in their house in the cold blizzard weather. All right, so that's something that definitely deserves some recognition. I want to talk about this Tampa Bay versus Carolina game. I just feel so bad for Bryce Young because he felt like he just won the game. He just won the game, and he was so happy. Nope. Overtime, Baker Mayfield goes out there and wins it. Kicker woes all over the place. NFC South. Listen, the Bucs are still in the race to win their division. They're, especially with the Falcons losing. You look at the playoff picture right now. The Falcons are in first place, but it's tied, right? The Falcons and the Bucs are both 6-6. The Bucs need to have a better record than the Falcons because they got swept by them. So it's going to be a pretty interesting race to the end of the NFC South division. The Buccaneers were able to get the job done over the Panthers. All right, comeback win for them in overtime. Your thoughts real quick.
Yeah, the Bucs lost that game, and then the Panthers said, no, we want to, give it to you. That's what that was about. They were in field goal range to win it and blew it. And literally got in field goal range and Hubbard fumbled or whatever. So
yeah,
the Bucs,
so ridiculous.
The Bucs not impressive in their win, but they were winning. And don't forget, they went through a little stretch where they lost key players and they were losing. The Bucs have been the better team in this division over the Falcons, if we're going to be fair. Now, the Falcons right now own the tiebreaker because the Falcons beat the Bucs and they beat them twice. And that's the bad part for them. Now, here's the deal. The Falcons got to play the Panthers. The Falcons got to play the Giants. The Falcons got to play the Raiders. 3 wins right there that I think that the Falcons can get. But the Falcons also got to play Minnesota this week coming up and the Commanders. And that's 2 games that I'm not quite sure that they can actually win those games. So with that being said, it makes me feel like the Falcons are going to get to 9 wins. But the Bucs, on the other hand, they're going to need 10 to get in. They play the Raiders, they can win. They play the Chargers. That's going to be the deciding game because they play the Cowboys, the Panthers, and the Saints as well. The Bucs have a path, Richie. In my opinion, the Bucs have a path, but they are going to have to go 4-1. And the only loss that they can afford is against the Chargers. And if they beat them, that would be very impressive. So the Bucs still have a chance to win that division. Atlanta, not so much unless they pull off a victory over one of those better teams in the league. So they're right back in it. Tampa Bay, I like what I'm seeing from them, even though it's not the most impressive. They're still fighting, and that's all that matters. And at the end of the day, I'm going to go out on a limb here, Richie, and say that Tampa, and this is the first time I'm switching up now, Tampa's going to come back and win this division.
I hope so. That was my prediction preseason. Now, we got the Monday Night Football matchup tonight. You know that TD's rooting for the Browns, even though it makes no sense. Broncos lose this game, doesn't really matter. You're still not making the playoffs. But listen, the Denver Broncos are on prime time. Bo Nix is going to be an opportunity. Jameis Winston has become a prize that every NFL fan loves to watch on primetime football. I think that this is going to be a big game from the Broncos standpoint to solidify themselves as a real playoff team. If they win tonight, they have a 76% chance to make the playoffs. If they lose, it drops to 52%. So they got to be able to prove that they are a playoff team tonight, the Denver Broncos, and Bo Nix needs to prove that he's able to get the job done against a still very good defense, right? The Browns are bad, but their defense is still there. So I got the Broncos winning, but it's going to be an interesting game to see.
Yeah, I got the Browns winning this game as well.
The Browns or the Broncos?
I mean the Broncos, excuse me. Thank you, Richie. I got the Broncos winning this game as well, but Richie, if they lose, Richie.
Yeah, what? That means nothing. You got to take care of your own business. What you ain't doing.
No. We're going to take care of our own. But here's the deal, Richie. If they lose, guess who they play next week? The Colts.
Yeah.
A win for the Dolphins. And then after that, they got to play the Chargers.
That's no win-win. If the Colts win that game, they're going to win out for the rest of the season, and the Colts making the playoffs over them. Yes.
No. You know,
there's no win-win. No matter what happens, it's actually a lose-lose.
I can count on Anthony Richardson dropping the ball at some point.
It's a lose-lose because no matter who wins is making the playoffs.
No, I'll take my chances on that. If the Colts win this game and win that game after that, if Broncos lose tonight and the Colts win that game after that, I will take my chances. I feel great as long as the Dolphins can handle their own business because the Colts, they'll be done. They got to play the Chargers, Bengals, and Chiefs. They'll be done. All right. The Broncos will be dead in the water, in my opinion. The Colts, they do have favorable matchups after that, but I'll bet on Anthony Richardson dropping one of those games.
Well, we shall see. Well, we're turning towards the end of the show. I do just want to bring up this real quick. Juan Soto's decision is looming this week. Everybody that's been watching the free agency updates, there's a lot of stuff going on. The hot stove is heating up in baseball. So we will be covering this all week long. Juan Soto is potentially going to get signed by a team this week. So just keep an eye out on that. Speaking of New York sports, the New York Knicks completely dominated yesterday. They are cruising right now. Okay. Mikal Bridges finally had his breakout performance, scoring 31 points as the Knicks destroy the Pelicans. The Pelicans are not a good team, but hey, felt really good. And the Cavs beat up on the Boston Celtics and claim to be the best team in the East. The Boston Celtics are frauds, TD.
Richie, just another day in the office. Hey, when the playoffs come, none of this matters, Richie. Boston already beat him earlier this season to basically say, well, y'all undefeated? Oh, let's take care of that. Now Boston we done already took care of y'all. We'll just play a little game tonight. That's all that was about, Richie. That's it.
Yeah, sure. Well, that is not true at all. But guys, if you want to get some bets in on tonight's Monday Night Football game, you guys know where to check it out. All right. That is on nowhere else but BetUS Sportsbook, the #1 online sportsbook on the face of the planet. All right. So look at the odds for tonight's game for the Monday Night Football matchup. You guys can receive a 150% bonus on your first deposit, 125% on your next two. That's all the way up to $2,000 on betus.com.pa. The Broncos are 6-point favorites, all right? The over-under is pretty low at 42 with two pretty good defenses, two all right quarterbacks. I like I can even say the Browns at +6. I think it's going to be a close game is what I'm looking at here. But if you guys want to go check out BetUS, definitely go take advantage of the 150% bonus on BetUS Sportsbook using the promo code YouTube150. All right. So big time shout out to BetUS as always, being the proud sportsbook sponsor of Roundtable Sports all season long. All right, folks, we're going to wrap up the show here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Wake Up and Ball on Roundtable Sports. This was a record-breaking show for us. We peaked at the most views we've ever had live. So make sure you guys come back tomorrow morning. Make this a part of your daily routine in the morning. Wake Up and Ball right here on Roundtable Sports Network, brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook. Hit the like button on your way out, folks. TD, anything you want to say to the people?
Yeah, man. Thanks for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. Over 500 viewers between YouTube and Twitter today, breaking the record. Wake Up and Ball is growing, doing well. And shout out to Richie and the team with the great production and the graphics and everything, helping this be a legitimate show in the morning that you can come to watch, enjoy, and get some good content and commentary. We love you all. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Thank you all. We will see you later today for the huddle. See you next time. Peace.
Peace.